Okay, so getting back to the session. Do we need a recap? You guys were holed up in an inn, and you had
Hmm.
been planning to strike at Mercurius in his puzzle palace pretty fast.
Yes.
If anyone watches this, you'll need to make a post
Yep.
to tell people what the puzzle is. Okay. Anyway, so and I think the last time we had talked, the last thing you said is you were planning to basically just go in there with the stealth and security system rolls and see how you did.
Yeah, pretty much. I
I
mean,
think
we've
is the
got
plan.
we've
Yeah.
got an escape plan with the Thyatis assassins, and Larissa, knows the interior as much as anyone can. Given that it's constantly changing, so I figure
Yeah.
we're set up. And Adrian, killed 3 Demodans single-handedly, so I figure together we're forced to be reckoned with.
Yeah. Okay. And so I think like here. Oh yeah. I think to make things uh, I'm like actually drawing a tiny map. I sort of envisioned this place in my mind, but I haven't
Nice.
really told you about it. But what you can imagine is a sort of like Italian
Hmm.
villa style building, where with the white marble and the red tiles, or I don't know if it's necessarily marble or whatever they're made of.
Right.
But so the basic idea is it's like a square building around an interior garden, right? Like an atrium
Ooh, yeah.
that takes light, and there's like a garden with weird plants and like sort of glowing foxgloves and things like that.
Yeah.
Mysterious ingredients, combination of beauty and weird magical ingredients, right?
Hell yeah.
And then so around that, like there's basically like a west wing and an east wing, and the north. It's a square around that, right? So west wing, we think the north side of the square is like has a big sort of central building with a dome, and like that's like a there's like a there would be like a viewing deck up there, and then there would be like a ballroom on the bottom floor that like the ceiling, the dome is the ceiling. It's like this shaft all the way down,
Nice.
right?
Yeah.
And then like with balconies around it. And then the south of the building, there would be like a forecourt, which is where like visitors would be received, and there would be kind of servants' quarters and different like guard posts,
Right.
staff functionary offices, and things like that. Although I think like things like the kitchen and pantry would be actually in the basement under the northern building, under the ballroom.
Oh,
Like
nice.
no,
Okay.
that would be where like the dining room was also, and all of the formal entertaining stuff, and you know things would happen there. So that's like what the building is all about. So you
Cool.
can sort of think about how you would go about approaching it. Nessa will sort of try to describe uh, what she thinks Mercurius would be doing. Like he putters out he moves his laboratory to various places in the west or east wings for the most part.
Yeah.
She's also often on the observation deck in the dome itself, but that's like he's sort of a paranoid guy, so he wouldn't like ever put his permanent base in such a easily identified location. So
Right.
like she doesn't know where he is. Basically, is the
Yeah.
point.
But we know there
So
is a lab.
yeah, that's right.
Somewhere, yeah.
And of course his bedroom, and him and his wife
Yeah.
bedroom. Or I guess they probably have separate bedrooms,
Oh, okay.
like aristocratic arrangement.
And I guess
Uh,
so. So do the north and south sections kind of curve around and also create the east and west, or they're two other
Yeah,
quadrants? Okay,
well,
cool.
yeah, there's kind of like a distinctive northern building, and then the wings come out of that,
Cool.
and then they
Okay.
join in. Like the forecourt has the main gate of the palace in it, and it also has like like I said, offices and guard stations like over the gate, around the gate. Stables are there too for a variety of riding animals.
Nice. Okay.
But so yeah, you could like make a if you knew your way around, you could make a circuit of the entire square. Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. That's the idea.
Okay, so yeah, I think given that Sully has, this, the uh uh desolid ability. I keep on going for insubstantial, but desolid.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh and that he can, kind of slip in and out. I'm thinking that the servants' quarters, probably has some side entrances for convenience. There's probably like a
Mhm.
public way in that's very well guarded, and then like private
Right.
ones that are kind of off to the side. So I'm thinking I
Yeah.
might try to slip through one of those, or just slip into that wing and find one of them, and then open the door for Nessa and the
And
Marquise.
okay. So that sounds like a straightforward security systems uh,
All
roll,
right.
and also a stealth roll, I guess, to see if anyone
Okay.
spots you do.
3d6, don't fail me now. That is a failure on the security systems
Okay.
and a success on the stealth.
Okay. That's so I have a pretty easy explanation for this,
Okay.
which is that you get lost,
Uh huh.
uh, but no one sees you hopelessly wandering around in this maze of passages. You're like it had to have been here, right? In
Right.
fact, uh, but you find yourself basically this is kind of like the I won't roll for it now, but the Puzzle Palace has an effect on it that can just sort of disorient you and put you where it wants
Oh,
to
cool.
a certain extent.
Yeah.
So I think maybe this is like a do you have luck or unluck? I can't remember.
No.
No, okay. Um, sorry, I'm just like my mind is dizzied by all of the exciting options I could possibly
Yes.
have. I don't think you would go too far, so you would kind of end up. I think you end up like over like in a guard post over the main gate, and maybe you're like disguised as a vase or something. I don't know, but there are these sort of like everyone's, like people sort of ordinary guards and like little like tabards with chainmail are coming and going with their spears, but there's also these like hobgoblins in full plate armor,
Whoa.
like with like helmets with like scowling monster faces with big fangs
Uh
on
huh.
them. And then they flip up the visor and they've got a scowling monster face with a big fang. Yeah.
Yeah. Why even have the helmet? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But and they're carrying halberds with like magical halberds with flaming heads that are like equipped with all sorts of spikes and prongs for different exciting purposes. Anyway, these hobgoblins, a group of them, like 4 or 5, like storm into the guard post and say, and start, the main one starts yelling, "Double shifts! Everyone, check everything twice. We have intelligence that there's going to be that someone is trying to breach the palace."
Uh
And
oh.
then there's sort of like and then all of the human guards start running everywhere, and like the hobgoblins sort of like take a break for a second. And if we're going with the Vaz theory, one of them like lights a cigar and ashes into you.
Yeah.
It's like they
Slight
could
coughs.
be anywhere.
Yeah.
But so like they sort of talk about what they're going to do, and like they a couple of them kind of disperse to go check the other. I'm going to keep an eye on what they're doing in the other wings, and then so there's like two hobgoblins still hanging around here, and watching through a little barred window.
Nice.
One of them's watching through a little barred window over the front gate, and the other's like just sitting on the table right next to where you are, and they're just sort of like chit chatting about like, gonna go down to the casino tomorrow night. Think I got a good blackjack system, or whatever.
Oh, okay. And Sully's got the thought bubble. This is what I get for trusting those Thyatis assassins. They've clearly sold us out. But now that I'm in, no way for it. I'm hoping, hopefully the guard, being on high alert is going to keep the guards focused on the perimeter. I'll slip into the interior and take care of this myself, and then, I'll take advantage of an opportune moment to turn into smoke and, slip out the door. And I'm actually going to go away from the walls and see if I can find this lab on my own.
Okay, so you're just going to go straight into it, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that detective work maybe moving around in here?
This feels like detective work, yeah.
Cool. Okay, so let me think. So actually, I am not looking for the lab necessarily. I think I'm looking for Mercurius.
Yeah. It may be relevant to do one more stealth check just to see how you get out of the current situation. Basically, just to see if you
Sure. Yeah.
they notice that the vase is gone now, or if you like find another vase and replace.
Okay. Cool.
This is not.
Ooh, just barely.
Okay, barely. Okay, so they don't.
So I like that. I like turn around and there's another vase behind me and I put it in front and float away.
They still don't know it's in there. May have been too much, but anyway, make the detective roll. So you sort of float out through the wall behind them, and now you're like hovering over the garden, which, like I said, is lit by both the flowers of the garden themselves and by, I guess, probably like glowing fireflies in different colors and things like that. It's very ornate.
And I'll drop some power for the insubstantial or some endurance. Just to get the visual. I think I'm moving around. Like we'd have a lot of motion lines. So I'm listening at a keyhole, glancing in through a window. Doing all these things kind of simultaneously. And how many hexes is the garden across?
How many hectares is the garden across? That's a good question. I'm trying to envision a hectare. It's at least, let's say, because that would be like 4 or 5, like 5 hexes. This is a big place.
Cool. Then I will. I'll just that'll be my stretching expenditure. We'll see if I have the chance to take a breather or not. Okay, so I'm doing my detective work. Success.
Okay, so you see you're peeping around through the different windows, and in one of the windows you see the unmistakable shadow of a wizard passing by across the drapes. It's unmistakable because he has the
of course.
You can go ahead and make a perception roll for him.
Okay. Failure.
Okay. Well,
So
very
just
good.
disregard the roll. Yeah.
All right. What do you do now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to stretch up to that window and press my face against it and try to see inside.
Okay. Um, so we're in combat.
Okay, sweet.
Let me get this phase chart out. Did I? Oh, wait, I haven't. So the important thing is that this is. I just literally just forgot what I was. Okay, new phase chart. New phase chart. All right.
Oh, cool.
Uh, it has Mercurius on it, and the important thing is anything that's a. Oh, I have to set up Mercurius as other elementals. I forgot they're all separate powers,
Cool.
so I have to actually do some bookkeeping to get their get their stats because you roll every time, and but they will be on his phase number. Um, why am I such a hard time with this? All right, phase chart is this. Yeah, Mercurius is on here. Take a screenshot of this.
Excellent.
We'll throw it in the whatchamacallit. And all right, there we go. And so I think I can put him on a yeah, he's on a 6. So then 5? 5, yeah, he's actually
Oh,
fairly
nice.
slow. Fairly slow, but his turn is actually a lot of people's turn.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Is the problem. Anyway, now getting back to those separate powers. This is something like I spent the last 10 minutes before the session like rewriting Mercurius elemental
Nice.
control. I didn't think about this part.
Sweet.
Uh, so we've got. I'm gonna name these guys something like this. Anyway, uh, Nessa is off somewhere. So I'm doing she did. Um, 5 PowerPoints. Oh, 1d6 for 5. Okay, that's what I need. All right.
Okay.
Is what we got. All right. So let's go to the. go to the chart and
Perfect.
so you are going to be uh, flashed for for two of your phases, and this is basically the disorientation effect of the palace. It's just like preventing you from getting your bearings, so it's not a literal. Like in terms of, well, let's a
And
lot of
yeah, I know you. Could I see to help me see it? Maybe like Sully is like up against the window, and then the window falls in, and suddenly I'm
yeah.
inside this
It's
weird
like
space.
everything. There's
Yeah,
mirrors everywhere, and like you're
cool.
like, is this real or is that real? But the important thing is that like just uh, as your face is pressed against the window, this is where we get to what's actually going on.
Cool.
As your face is pressed against the window, like you can't you can't really see what's going on in there. There's this sort of kaleidoscope of effect of like you see sort of Mercurius moving about like a room, but there's multiple of him, and you're trying to figure out what's real, what's wrong, and suddenly like a
Nice.
whirlwind surrounds you, and I'll roll to see if it hits, but you're still under the flash, so
Yeah, so my combat
defense is,
six.
you know, and it actually throws you, just spins you around and throws you through the window into the house, and that's going to
Okay.
be, and when you hit the wall, that's going to be I think 6 damage. It's not too much, but 10, 11, 14 knockout,
Okay.
and 3 body, which nothing special about that. I don't think the body would get through, and the knockout might not get through your defense either. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, just two. I
Just
bumped it
2.
up to
Okay.
12. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, but but you're sort of like disoriented, slam through the window, and you
Cool.
land. I guess you make kind of a soft landing into an antique couch,
Uh huh.
and then like while you're lying there, like Mercurius is there, and is like he's got this sort of like blue velvet robe with a Dracula collar, and is like sort of like weird boxy Jack Kirby hat on,
Nice. Yeah.
and he's there, but he's there along with like his uh this floating like flaming elemental who's sort of like a blob of fire with like grabby hands and a creepy like malicious face, and then there's like an earth elemental that's just like a big buff dude made of rocks,
Hell
kind
yeah.
of like the thing but with less definition even, and just a sort of like, how like this kind of character has a weird like almost 2 eyes and like a cartoon mouth face, like that's all they've got. That's what that's like. Anyway,
Nice.
so he says, "Oh my, that piece will cost a pretty penny to replay. But now that you're here, I hope you won't think of trying to resist, because you'll find your options are a lot better with me than against me."
uh, okay, and just to clarify, so this was that was so I'm Flash. That was basically phase.
So that happened on phase first available Mercurius phase 3.
Cool. Okay.
So the Flash would take your phase 4. I forget
And,
where Flash.
and
No, it's
six.
one segment. It's not your phases. It's one segment. So It's basically just going to eat your phase 4, I think.
Okay. Oh, okay, okay. Are you sure? I don't lose like the next two actions.
I am. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's how it's meant to work.
Cool.
Like you have to get Flash pretty high up there to, like, the faster you are, the more Flash hits you.
Nice. Yeah.
So that kind of thing. I can check in the.
Yeah. The
I could
rule
check
book.
I could check the actual third edition book and see what the original intent was. I don't think that's changed, but
Oh, okay.
uh,
And the now edition does say segment.
segment.
Yeah.
It says segment instead, right? So
Cool.
that means it's. Well, anyway, let's move on. We'll play it. We'll play it like that, and then
Okay.
do some research.
I'm not gonna complain. I get my
Yeah.
my bearings back more quickly.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, okay. So
All right.
thinking here.
So anyway, okay. So yeah, so they eat your 4, and then, or you can. I mean, you can technically act on 4,
Right.
but your perception value is 6.
And my combat value.
You would
so-
have to make a. You'd have to come up with the. Well, what are you going to do anything on 4? I guess.
I think I'm lying there. So I'm lying there, like in the ruins of the couch. Stars and birds circling my head, and I say, I hope you don't treat all of your guests, this harshly, particularly those you want to join you. And I'm not going to take any action beyond that. I'll just converse, which I know is outside of this segment, but
Okay. Okay, and I think he'll say, like, I guess we can. I guess if we're having a conversation, we can maybe reset. Maybe this might be a way to reset the combat. Reset the combat at a
Okay.
later and more advantageous time for you, but because he sort of can't resist this, I think he says,
oh, these
I'm not
wizards.
I'm not such a fool as to think you came here to bargain with me, but I as to think you came here to join me, but I shall not miss the opportunity to convince you to join me.
uh, oh man. Okay. Yeah, I guess Sully is probably in high demand among these
Yeah,
among these weird demon collectors. Uh,
yeah. Like a ultra rare Pokemon.
yeah.
But
What is it? The foil Charizard. It's
Foil
Sully.
Charizard, that's
Uh,
right.
Okay, Sully can't. Man, these two are so bad for each other. Sully can't resist either. He says, "Well, what are your terms of service? We'll see if we'll see if your terms are kinder than my own."
All right. He'll go to, like, he has like a writing desk nearby, and he'll go start drawing up some notes. He'll say to his elementals, watch him carefully now. He might try to make a move, but he will offer. What are his terms? He basically. So he sort of knows what your lifestyle is in Karameikos already.
Right.
He'll just say, like, well, I will have need of, I will take your lamp and call upon your services as I need, services that you have certainly rendered many times in the past to many different masters. I will ask you nothing unusually vile by your standards. And of course, when I'm not when I don't have need of you, you will be a most honored guest of Alphatia, and you will have your free reign of the casinos and the taverns, which I know you love so well. You'll find that Specularum is but a pale shadow of what Alphatia has to offer. This is the this is Mystara's most civilized and populous city, full of wonders and enchantments. Bored of life? You can never get bored of life here.
Oh, uh,
Yeah, he'll presence attack.
okay. Oh, cool. Okay.
He'll got a 3d6. I think I you can. I'm tempted to give him 2 dice for targeting your.
He's no, he's done. Give him two. Yeah. I should say you've done pretty well.
Oh my. So he's got 2 6s, which means this is going to be coming in. This is going to be coming in with seven total.
And I got 3, so you got 4 on me.
Wow.
And
Wow.
when I look at our little, which I think is the highest differential we've had.
You're so impressionable for a jaded immortal being.
I really am. Oh, odd and inclined to apply, however briefly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So this is definitely, I mean, my interpretation of this is that if you were to, I mean, if you were to try to fight against this and start something up, you would like have to eat the combat effects, right?
Right. Yeah.
For whatever you did. So.
Okay. So.
But that's the scene. That's where we are.
No, I love it. Yeah, no, and that's just material for me narrating my next action. So Sully is kind of stepping forward. His arms have dropped, and in his thought bubble, he's just seeing gold and bottles of wine, and he says, I've heard tell that that the casinos of Alphasia are so good that the demons of hell itself come to gamble of a Hallows Eve. You could get me into those places.
Of course, I am the foreign minister of the Emperor's government. No place in Alphasia is close to me. I don't recommend going to the casino when Orcus is there, though. It smells terrible.
Of course.
Like,
smokers everywhere.
that's right.
Okay, so Sully had something tricksy, but I'm rolling with this presence attack and putting it aside, and he says, how about uh how about a trade? A period, a fixed period of service and delights in exchange for the freedom of the water elemental, whose name is Alyssa?
Nessa.
Nessa, that's right, Nessa.
All right. He ponders that. As he's pondered, he's quickly writes something on a piece of paper and holds out the quickly scribbled contract to you with like with like his seal, like his little signet ring, just burns the seal into it. And he says, "Done. It only awaits your signature."
Oh, okay. I'm gonna roll. I think detective work to see if there's anything
Okay.
shifty in this contract.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess in how long is he? Am I signing up for here?
Um,
Explicitly. I don't
he,
know if he's doing anything shifty.
uh, I think he wrote 10 years in there.
Okay.
Let's say.
Mm-hmm. Okay. 15. Okay, so failure. So if there's anything shifty in the contract,
Okay.
I've missed it.
There. Are you actually is Sully actually leaving a pause to think in the conversation?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So he'll sort of lean on this and say, I I believe the terms are more than fair. You are getting everything you want. You won't betray your friend. You'll get the lifestyle you're accustomed to, and our ambassadorial relationship with Karameikos will continue. So you will be certainly free to go on a trip and see the Lady Vana again before she passes.
Uh, yeah. So this, I mean, this has got to be like a full page illustration, right? That on the one
Yeah.
hand, this is so. On the one hand, you know, uh, luxury, not too vile service. Getting everything I want, and then but on the other, and kind of getting to slip through and kind of have everything again, right? But on the other is that letter that I wrote to Vlana, right? I want to,
Yeah.
uh, I want to be more responsible for my for the actions that I take, uh, and live, elect to live more like a mortal. And I think Sully can't. I don't think he can turn back on what he told Vlada. So he is looking at it, and then very it obviously hurts him to do this, but he balls up the contract and throws it away and says, my apologies, wizard. But I won't. I'm afraid that I have other responsibilities that I must see to.
All right. And I think Mercurius just snaps, "Fool! Destroy him!"
Yeah, fair enough.
Now we're fine.
And if you want me to lose
Yeah,
a,
yeah.
a section from the
Yeah, I
presence
think you're
attack,
gonna
yeah,
lose your first phase,
excellent.
and so this is gonna be pretty punishing, uh, especially since this also drops your defense thing.
Oh, and Sully's got as this happens, Sully's getting
Until
hammered. He's got the thought bubble like, oh, if I'd known, doing right was this painful.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
All right, but we'll go back to like phase two,
yeah.
which is the one you lose, and then phase three,
Is
Mercurius's
Mercurius?
servants will act, and I think the earth elemental is just gonna pound you into
Yeah.
the floor, and the fire elemental will follow up on him after that. If there's anything left to do. Anyways, so he rolled a hit. That's were you dodging by any chance?
Um,
I mean, you're at a 6. You could be at a 9. It's not going to help a lot, but you're cool.
no, I'll eat the damage. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So
I just hate to lose a whole other action next, and just get pummeled
yeah,
again.
I
Yeah,
know. Well, you might be. See how
yeah.
we rolled. That's not the best, but I think it might do.
Well, yeah. These.
33 knockout and like
Ooh.
10 body. 12
Okay.
wait, not 12. Uh, 9 body, excuse me. 33 knockout, 9 body.
Nice. Okay. So.
And I think that's puts you through the floor pretty.
Yeah. So.
Not the way you usually like to go.
Exactly. Okay. So no. Let me check. No body damage gets through because
Yeah.
defense of 12. Then 21 KO gets through. That's well over my stunned threshold. So I'm getting stunned, and I have 3 knockout left.
Okay. Wait. You you swallowed your lamp,
Mm-hmm.
didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Both Mercurius and the fire elemental will fly down through the hole and hover over you. And Mercurius will say, "My servant will end your life if you do not cough up your lamp and give it to me. Your habits are well known."
Now, let me refamiliarize myself with stunning.
I guess the air elemental will has enough flying to come down there and as well and hang out. The air elemental is more of like a kind of like, I don't know, Robin Goodfellow type looking fairy looking thing, like that's translucent and riding around in like this whirling wind.
Oh, so Sully spits a tooth out into Mercurius's eye, and says, "If you want it, you're gonna have to get it yourself."
Okay. Let's see. I think we still got fire elemental, air elemental. Did their move? Like, I'm kind of playing fast and loose with the.
But you do. I mean, I can't take anything but free actions for my next one, so you do have some room to work.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. You're stunned.
Yeah.
So they do have one more. So you will get your. You do get your free action to. What can you do as a free action?
Basically talk. Uh, I can't move, and I don't think I have any relevant powers. So
All
I'm
right.
pretty abject at the moment.
All right. So I think like on the next round, like Ariel's says, like the air element will say, "Tectonus, hold him open," and like the earth elemental will come down and do a grab, and I think you're still at defense 6 when you're stoned, and
Okay.
he'll just basically grab your mouth and like stretch
Oh
it open
yeah.
while the air elemental like shoots a. Let's roll for this, but yeah, shoots a bolt of
So
wind
good.
like a little vortex down your throat, and then like yanks the lamp out. And Mercurius grabs it in his hand and says, "Haha,
Oh,
no contract necessary."
damn it. Okay. And that damage is enough to, I think, get me down to 0, so I'm unconscious, and we probably have a scene cut here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, Gosh, now I don't know what to do. I have to think about what actually
I know
happens to
you got
Adrian
everything
and
you
Nessa.
wanted. Yeah, that's Mercurius.
Um, I sort of actually was prepared for the possibility that you all would just roll this guy. This is like this did not work out that way.
Well, especially after Bargle, where
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Adrian just smoked his minions.
yeah. Well, this time, yeah, the problem was, yeah, not being able to have Adrian with you
Yeah,
partly, and these are not hazards.
yeah,
These are rough stuff. I mean, the hazards works, but if you have right, like if you have the actions to hit a couple of hazards before they can do anything, then you're full on doing like the Spider-Man thing where you're just bopping people left and
yeah.
right. But in this situation, like pretty rough. Anyway, um, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I have to seriously think about what. So ultimately,
Yeah, take your time. I know you've got a lot of things to juggle here.
so I think probably in the comic book we would see, you know, Adrian and Nissa like sort of waiting, on the rooftop across from the palace, and Adrian going like, "Where is he? It's been a long time." And then Nessa saying, like, "I think something's gone wrong. We should just flee. Let's get out of here." And then she's like, as she says that, she starts being like, it's
Oh,
almost like a force. She's made of water, it's almost like a
yeah.
force is sucking her towards the palace, and she's like going, "No,
Oh,
Adrian." And
no.
then she just
Oh,
slips away as their hands almost touch, and then like she's pulled back into whatever astral realm he uses to
God.
control. And then I think we can not necessarily know what happens to Adrian for
Yeah.
a little bit. That's
Oh,
fine.
yeah.
Uh, but you let's take a look at your character sheet again and see
Sure,
exactly
yeah.
what. I'm trying to remember exactly what the leverage is with your lamp.
It is pretty nasty.
Yeah, it's like
So someone can whoever holds the lamp can inflict 2d6 destructive lethal weaken to ego. So it
right,
takes
right,
it takes some kind of special action uh to recover from.
right. But that's not necessarily. It doesn't necessarily mean it's impossible for you to act freely. It's just they can inflict
Yeah.
damage. So that's interesting. Anyway, uh, let's see what your new life is like. So he would still probably be thinking of you as a not not entirely compliant asset. So I guess your new life uh, is going to be like this.
Uh huh. Do
Uh,
it.
you're back in the circle of protection.
Uh huh.
Uh, so like next time you come out of the lamp, you're probably in like a dank stone like dungeon cell with like a flickering torch and the glowing circle of protection around you. Like this one is like pulsing with red. That I think it's like a full on pentagram, like right, full on demon pentagram. Uh, I think it's similar stats to the other one, but
Yeah.
no apprentices need to maintain it. But there are a couple of hobgoblins, like the full on plate mail
Yeah.
flaming halberd hobgoblins. And as you sort of pop out to see your surroundings, one of them is like, "Hey, Hey, look, he's coming out. Look at this weirdo.
I mean, it's nice that that he let me back into the lamp.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
okay, so I'm of course prowling the circle, but out of the corner of my mouth, yeah, I'm saying, seems we're coworkers now. What do you think of what kind of a boss is this Mercurius guy?
All right. Roll your unusual looks. Actually, do the reverse unusual looks
Yeah.
again.
So we want them to trigger.
Yeah.
That is, yep, they trigger.
Okay. Okay. So one of the guards will say, "Yeah, feel chatty, huh? Well, he's pretty much like any wizard, I expect. The who knows why the hell he wants what he wants. Always making us go get weird ingredients, change everything around in the palace. Still, the money's good for us. For you, I don't know about that, but I mean, gossip's kind of been going around about what happened. Why didn't you just take the offer? What are you, stupid?
And while they're talking about pay, I'm saying like, oh, that's not as big a concern. I'm reaching my hand into the lamp, and I come up with like a bottle of wine, my pipe, so I'm gonna make myself comfortable in here. Uh,
Well, look who's got the best prison sentence ever.
Little candelabra, light some
Yeah, I
candles.
know,
Yeah,
right.
like, oh, that's better.
One
I
of them says,
see.
"Nah, we were supposed to go. We're supposed to go get the boss if he comes out. I'm gonna head out. Just don't let him. Don't let him do anything funny."
Right. um, uh, yeah, truth be told, friend, I'm wondering the same thing too. Uh, I don't quite know how to put it, but I guess uh, I I guess uh, I wanted to stop working and following someone else's will, and and see how being true to my word, see what that was like.
All right. Well, that sounds pretty dumb to me. Still, what to tell you? I mean, guys like us, someone's always going to be telling us what to do. You just got to make the best of it.
Oh, I look over through half closed eyes and say, I'm buddy, I'm nothing like you. If this if this circle weren't here, I'd show you. I'd show you the difference. I'd show you one or two differences between us.
Yeah, but it is there though.
Yeah, I'll angrily smoke my pipe
All right.
and store away that hobgoblin's face. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I think after this conversation, Mercurius Mercurius comes down to talk to you. He's just sort of like looking at you, and he says, "You are you are imprisoned at my what's the word, at my sufferance. But there may still be a path out for you. I have rewritten the contract. Uh, the terms are the same, but it is now 100 years.
Uh, 100 years of the pleasure palaces of Alphasia. Maybe you should have started with that.
All right. He chuckles, but then tries to stay mad.
Yeah.
It's like
um, as long as you hold on to the lamp, you have the power to force me to do things. But I'm going to withhold my consent. You're gonna have to get your hands a little dirty, dirtier than a contract if you want my service.
all right. I think he'll say, "What exactly do you mean by that?" I guess you may make a perception roll if you want.
Yeah,
Good
let's
time
do
for
that.
it.
That is a success.
Okay, so I think you can see that you still have some leverage over this guy in terms of that he just really he just really wants to have a genie servant. Like that's
Oh
some kind of like cool wizard status thing for him.
God. Okay.
Like,
Oh man. Oh, and Sully can work with that. Thought bubble. Okay. Right after I get out of this scrape, I'll start being honest. Uh, um.
yeah.
Okay. So. Okay. So Sully. I'll drop a few points on enlarge. Uh. A few points on stretching, do my thing of, looking less human and more, magical and like an Indian deity, uh, and say, you know, let me give you a tip, friend. You're coming at this all wrong. Your hobgoblin can be bought with gold. Your demon, loves a contract. We genies, we really look for, a partnership. So don't let's really a relationship. You don't ask for marriage on the first date. So I'll help you out since this is your first time dealing with one of us. uh we really start 6 months, sure, a year. If we like each other, we keep on working together. We do great things. And if I take a shine to you, maybe I help you out. Maybe I help you out. Even without the contract. There's nothing my kind loves more than granting the wishes of mortals. And so yeah, I'm gonna lay down some patter and
Okay.
hold out the unlikely but not impossible prospect that we could grow to like each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So you can go ahead and presence attack. I think I
Okay.
will say in response, he says, "I've never heard something more fantastically arrogant in my entire life." But you can tell that he kind of likes it.
Yeah, arrogance recognizes arrogance.
Yeah.
Do I get any bonus dice? I don't know if I'm hitting any
Oh
situations or.
yeah. Like on the nose, but I'll give you a +1 bonus die
Cool.
for appropriateness to the situation.
I've got two.
Got
I
it.
rolled two ones.
Okay. He also has two,
Okay.
so he's tickled but not super impressed. He still knows who has the upper hand here, I guess. Let's say.
Yeah.
I'll say you're an entertaining little creature, but you're going to stew in this circle until you're a little more, until the scales tip a little more in my direction. Let's put it that way.
Sorry, I'm thinking. I'm thinking about if I have any options here. Uh, I said, well, you're gonna want a contract in place when Karameikos demands my extradition for treason.
Um, hmm. Go on, I guess. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I understand the angle because
You're gonna want some kind of binding contract because Karameikos wants to take me
oh,
back
you're trying to yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
put
yeah.
me
Okay,
on
I see what
trial. Yeah. And tell me if this might be weak sauce, given I don't I'm throwing it out there. So
it
if it is, feel free to have him
it
ignore it
doesn't
and
seem to
leave.
have
Yeah,
much. Yeah, he just sort of that just sort of goes over his head. I think he doesn't really, he sort of thinks of Karameikos as small fry, and they can kind of do whatever they want to about that.
yeah,
So this is not that's not going over with him.
yeah.
He just says to the hobgoblins, "Watch him carefully. I'll be back tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah, and I'll
Maybe earlier. We'll see how he
right.
we'll see how he does.
And Sully will punch the circle in frustration.
Okay,
Definitely loses his cool at that.
okay. New 7 endurance.
Yeah,
This the circle zaps you. By the
of
way,
course.
it's actually it might be helpful for you to know that that's an effect
Yeah,
on this hazard.
nice. Okay, so while I'm waiting, I think Sully is kind of restless and curious, and actually finds these hobgoblins interesting. I mean, I'm gonna try to chat them up, and kind of get to know like how did they get here? Are they part of some warrior order? Like I want to know about them.
Okay. I don't actually know much about them except that they're the honor guard. They're the honor guard for Mercurius, and a lot of the other probably Alphatian nobles kind of use hobgoblins as soldiers or guards or mercenaries. I think the idea is kind of that there's a couple of different they kind of have a tribal like this martial tribal organization, but they have like a permanent relationship with Alphatia, kind of like certain like tribes in what are they called, like Germanic or Gallic tribes who kind of had this Marshall this relationship with Rome, where they kind of provided
Oh,
the
right.
bulk of
Yeah.
the forces in the later Roman Empire. So they're sort of like this is just like the expected career for young hobgoblin men, right? You're gonna go join some Alphatian army and do whatever. And if you get into they're pretty happy with their position. They kind of got into like the soft job from their point of view. They're like in hog heaven basically, as opposed to
Oh,
being on some frontier just like stabbing elves or
yeah.
whatever. you
Yeah.
know,
And getting stabbed by
and
elves.
getting
Yeah.
stabbed by elves. Yeah,
uh, okay, these two guards, Sully will reach in, into his lamp and come up with a handful of dice and say, shall we, what do you say? Do you want to make an easy job even easier and see if, if they want to play
yeah, no,
dice? Yeah.
yeah. They'll play dice with you.
um,
I guess we're playing. It'll pass the time. I guess we can't play for money since
right.
can't get anything through the circle. But yeah, like,
We've got IOUs, we're
yeah,
keep, yeah,
there you go. There you go.
yeah.
If you ever get out of here, well, you don't have any luck. But
Um, and yeah, I think maybe this would be. Tell me if this is a detective work role, but I think Sully would just like to know a little bit more about Alphatia. Uh, as a city, like he kind of knows them as a nation, right? But
yeah, yeah,
what the internal politics are like, as much as these they probably know more than like someone on the street, but it's not like they're
right.
insiders. But yeah, I'd just like to know what
Yeah,
they know. Cool.
you can actually make a detective work role to kind of read between the lines as your kid.
That is. Oh, that's a failure. Damn it.
Okay, good. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So you don't get any special secret
Right.
insight. You do know they sort of know. They can sort of gossip a little. They're both kind of irreverent, but also loyal. Like they
Yeah.
will make fun of Mercurius, but in his weird habits. But they definitely know what side their bread is buttered on, right? And they're kind of
Yeah.
not gonna give away his secrets or whatever like that. So,
Yeah.
but they sort of like chit chat about how like he's kind of a character. The other ministers in the cabinet who come for dinner, you can tell like they think he's really annoying, but they kind of like know they have to show up. And
Yeah.
besides the food and wine is good. That's the best. That's one thing they might let slip, is that he is just like, he spends so much money. Just money pours out of the coffin on like
Hmm.
finery and like luxuries and like weird remodels. And so they kind of like, you already knew the thing about him like trying to take control of like the war minister's budget. I think that was brought up last time, but they kind of, I don't think they would
Yep.
reiterate that, but they indicate that like he's got a pretty never-ending appetite for more
Right.
money.
Yeah. Nice. Um, Well, and I think in my new frame of mind, Sully is like kind of picking up on that loyalty and finding something admirable in it, And I know exactly the vibe you're talking about, right? Where it's like,
Yeah,
these are lovable quirks, kind of
yeah,
fondly
yeah.
perceived. Yeah. Uh, okay, so I will. I'm gonna wait until Mercurius returns.